What's up, heroes? My name is Sylarclone, and welcome back to Crystalline. Chapter 4 has just been released, picking off exactly where we left off after taking down some of the Cloaked Brotherhood. I stifle a yawn, which Kara notices.
Hold on, Zack. It's already nighttime and we don't have a plan formulated.
Yes, and I need to rest. It's been a long day.
I think we can afford one extra day to set everything out.
Leanna nods.
Let's sleep on it and decide what our next steps will be in the morning.
Sounds good to me.
And to me. Could use the rest after using all that magic from the last episode when we got to the air temple. Zack heads to his bedroll, and the rest of us filter into our own bedrolls too. I gradually fall asleep as the last embers of the fire die down and snuff out. The end of the day sound effect is probably my favorite part of this. I love that it's in here. It's a great symbol to the end of a day. The next day, I wake up to the sound of voices. Hopefully my party members. Looking over, I see Zack and Kara speaking in low whispers. They consult with Leanna and Amelia while the Pongo snores softly beside me. As I stir in my bedroll, Leanna glances over at me.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can I have a wake-up kiss? Morning. The Pongo opens groggy eyes as I carefully scoot out of the bedroll.
Hi.
Don't worry, dude. Go back to sleep. I didn't want to wake you. Sorry. I was trying not to wake you. Go back to sleep. He opens his mouth wide in a sleepy yawn.
Hi, boy.
Ah, he's so adorable. Shaking himself in a little shudder, he blinks his eyes a few times and then focuses a wide grin. Glad to see he's up and at 'em. I guess he's awake now. He hops with me as I take a seat with the rest of the party. What's going on?
We're mapping out our route to the Cloaked Brotherhood's hideout.
That sounds like a good plan. Oh,
I figured you might want to sleep in. It'll end up being a bit of a journey to get there.
well, why are we sleeping in and wasting daylight? Let's just go. Wake my ass up. I give Leanna an appreciative smile. Thanks. So, where are we headed then?
The Cloaked Brotherhood is located somewhere within Bridgewick, and that's located back towards the southeast.
Little bit of backtracking, it sounds like. Sounds like we'll be doing a bit of backtracking.
You are correct. However, that is still advantageous towards our main goal. To reach the water temple, we would have to travel the same direction regardless.
That's fair enough, so it's kind of along our way, it seems. That's not too bad then. Although, I figured no matter what, we'd have to travel south since we're pretty far up north. Kara faces Zack.
You're positive the Cloaked Brotherhood is in Bridgewick.
He nods.
How do you know if you never joined them? Even through all my research and contacts, I wasn't able to learn their location. They keep it very well protected.
That is a good question. Zack must have the inside scoop.
I wasn't supposed to know it either. The Brotherhood doesn't reveal the location until you've been initiated. When I was sent to complete my initiation mission, one of the men let slip the location before confirming the completion of my mission.
That guy's an idiot.
I haven't gone there myself to confirm, so once we reach Bridgewick, we'll need to do more scouting.
It still sounds like our best lead. I guess we have our plan then. The team separates as we clean up the camp and get ready to depart. Then we begin the trek towards Bridgewick. It takes us a few days to travel back south. Even though the mission of our journey has changed, Leanna still has me follow a strict training regimen. We continue to practice sparring and casting, and I feel myself improve with each session. Won't be long before I can beat Leanna in a match. I hope. Vote of confidence in yourself, dude. Gotta be confident in it. We can beat her one day. Maybe. After about 5 days of traveling, we finally arrive in Bridgewick. Oh, that's a cute little town. The cobblestone streets are paved and well kept. As we pass through the marketplace, I hear the growing voices of peddlers advertising their wares. More traditional shop fronts line the streets, and a few shopkeepers chase away any tents set up in front of their stores. The Pongo buries his face into my neck as we walk through. People bustle about as they shop. Everything about this town feels strangely ordinary. If I didn't know any better, I wouldn't have guessed there's a dark guild hiding beneath this ordinary facade. Huh.
What is it?
This place seems kind of pleasant.
What were you expecting?
Something more like a wolf's den vibe, honestly. A little dark and gritty. People just kind of staring at you, go, what the hell you doing here? You want to fight?
Hiding someplace unremarkable is a pretty good strategy.
He's not wrong. It is a good strategy, and it seems to be working out for him.
They don't typically see too much crime here.
I wonder how much influence they have on the townsfolk here.
Probably very little. I'd guess that most of the townsfolk don't even realize that the Brotherhood is even here.
Probably not. Last thing you want to do is advertise to the town that you're in of, hey, Dark Guild, right here. Don't tell anybody, though. Even so, I'm not sure I like the idea of us just hanging out in plain view like sitting ducks. Maybe we should go to the inn until we can figure out what to do next. Zack shakes his head.
Too many people might recognize me there.
That's a fair point. I thought you said the townspeople are innocent.
They may be, but the inn is a prime target to leave Cloaked Brotherhood scouts. They'll most likely recognize Zack and alert the guild that he's here.
And much like my concern of not wanting to be spotted, probably out in the open's the best place. Kara frowns, looking worried.
That's a good point, which brings up an even larger problem. Where can Zack hide out? It might take a few days to even find a lead. He has to be able to stay and sleep somewhere.
Because we need him on his A game. He's going to be the lead front in taking these guys down.
I have a contact here. We can ask him if he'll let me lay low for a while.
Kara raises her eyebrow.
Who is it?
A friend of a friend. He won't turn us away.
He's avoiding the question, it seems. Zack leads us through the city and pauses in front of a small shop. A sign with a hammer and anvil hangs above the door. This must be a blacksmith's forge. Really, never would have guessed that. He opens the door, and a small bell dings above our heads. Weapons line the wall, their blades winking in the light. And dischargers mounted on the side as well. I can hear the faint sound of a hammer smacking against metal as an orange glow flickers down the hall. We wait for a few minutes to see if anyone comes out. When no one does, Zack leads us into the back where we see a man. His face is sweaty and wrought in concentration as he hammers a blade. Sparks fly when he hits it. The constant hammering is making my ears ring. Zack steps out of the doorway, his shadow casting over the man's work. That's not intimidating and terrifying.
Hey.
That was a pleasant hey from him. He must really like this guy. The man looks up and blinks.
Oh, good afternoon.
He wipes his forehead with the back of his arm and smiles.
Sorry to keep you waiting. It's usually pretty quiet out front at this time. What can I do for you?
Are you Adrian?
Right to the point. His smile remains on his face, but a line of tension creases his brow.
I am. Who's asking?
Uh-oh, things are getting serious.
I'm a friend of Damon.
Who the hell is Damon? It must be his friend. And Adrian must be the friend of Damon. I don't know. Adrian's eyes widen and he lets out a long, slow breath.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
I'm assuming he's dead? Maybe? Question mark? I don't know. We'll find out.
He always spoke very highly of you. Said the only blade worth having was the one forged by Adrian.
Humble praise. I like it. Adrian laughs. A deep, throaty rumble. Ho, ho, ho! Something like that.
And then he switched to dischargers. Lost out my business when that happened.
His expression softens as he takes a closer look at Zack.
You that boy you took in?
Wait, hold on. There's a backstory here. Enlighten us.
Although, you're not so much a boy anymore.
Zack.
Adrian nods.
I'm sorry about what happened to Damon. He didn't deserve to go like that.
Oh, he is dead. Oh, the plot thickens. Wonder if we'll know what happened. I'm curious.
No, he didn't.
Zack lowers his head so his hair falls into his eyes. Zack isn't usually this emotional. Whoever they're talking about, he must have meant a lot to Zack.
Anyway, Damon was like a brother to me, and I know how much he cared about you. He wouldn't stop talking about how you were going to be one of the best mercs out there, maybe rivaling even him. Anything I can do to help, you just let me know. A friend of Damon's is a friend of mine.
I like this guy. Zack nods. He takes a moment to recompose himself, then looks back up.
I appreciate the offer. In fact, I do have a favor to ask. Would it be alright if I lay low here for a while?
The blacksmith strokes his chin. His name is Adrian, not the blacksmith, smearing soot across his jaw. I notice the skin on his forearms looks like it's been melted, and it takes me a moment to realize that they're burn scars.
I won't ask why, but can you promise me you won't bring anything back to my shop? I don't need any trouble here.
Hey, I'll do my best, actually.
I promise, you won't be involved at all.
He grins a little and nods.
Then, feel free to stay as long as you need.
Thank you.
The rest of you going to stay here too?
Can we? I actually think it might... Actually, in this situation, it might be better for us to stay at the inn. While we could lay low there, it's not us they're looking for. I don't think they know who we are. Sure, they might recognize Leanna as a Mage-Knight, but me and Kara, not so much. Leanna shakes her head.
It's a bit crowded in here, and we've got some things to take care of first.
Pongo! Adrian eyes the Pongo warily. The Pongo shrinks from his gaze. He wobbles over to my legs and hides behind me. Well, actually, the Pongo might stay. You'll be on your best behavior, right? He grins up at me and cuddles against my leg. That's right, you better be! Just in case, I reach for a small crystal stacked on the shelves and fish for a handful of coins, which I offer to Adrian. Is it okay if I buy this? He accepts my coins. I offer the crystal to the Pongo, who excitedly snatches it up. He wiggles happily in a little jiggle dance. Good, I got him a gift, and maybe he'll behave himself now. Leanna melts as she watches the Pongo. Oh, the two of them are adorable.
Aww.
He should be good to go and won't touch anything else in the shop. Satisfied, Adrian nods.
All right, you can stay.
Kara touches Zack's arm. Ooh, getting a little close, are we?
We'll be back as soon as we can.
He nods, but doesn't say anything. Kara gives him a gentle squeeze before we return to the main room. We pause before leaving the shop. Once outside, I face the remainder of our party.
All right, we've got to find the location of the Cloaked Brotherhood's hideout. It'll make more sense if we split up to find information.
Fair point.
Agreed. Our best course of action is to investigate in pairs. That way, should anyone befall any trouble, they will not be alone.
I guess I'm going with Leanna.
Good thinking.
Amy and I will start in the north of the town, while you two start in the south. We'll meet up back here afterwards.
Sounds like a plan to me. Once agreed, we split up. Leanna and I head off in one direction, while Kara and Amelia go the opposite way. Leanna and I pause at the marketplace.
I'll scout some of the buildings out around here and see if I can find any unusual activity.
And then I'll sit here and look pretty. Okay, if you ask around inside, I could take a look around out here in the marketplace. She grins.
Sounds like a plan.
She heads off. I turn around and scan the area. Ask the shady-looking group hanging out near the alleyway, ask the mother and her child, or ask the guards. Well, let's see here. I don't want to ask the guards. That might alert too much. The guards might be a good thing. I'm going to think about staying away from this shady group because that'll definitely raise some suspicions. But at the same point, I don't want to ask the guards because what if they really are on the Cloaked Brotherhood's payroll? Let's see if I could talk to the mother and the child. That might be the innocent thing of, hey, have you guys noticed anything unusual around here lately? Excuse me. The woman freezes. She stops and turns around. The woman's mouth pulls into a distorted frown. She takes in my leather armor and the sword strapped to my back, her eyes guarded and wary. She shuffles her son behind her.
What do you want?
What can you tell me about the Cloaked Brotherhood? I'm new to town and I was wondering if you noticed anything suspicious. That's not going to be a good idea. I'm new to town and I was wondering if you've noticed anything suspicious lately. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about the town. Her eyes narrow.
What about it?
I've just moved here a bit ago. Is there anything you think I should know? The woman pauses, her lips flatten to a thin line.
Yes. You shouldn't be traveling alone.
¿Por qué? Her grip tightens around her little boy's hand. My stomach clenches. Oh. I shift uncomfortably. Why? Is there anyone strange out here? The woman's mouth clenches shut. Clearly, she's not up to answering any more of my questions.
If you'll excuse me.
She elbows her way past me and disappears back into the crowd. Okay. That's one option. Then we'll go with my gut instinct number 2 of ask the guards. 2 guards are playing some kind of dice game in front of a fancy-looking building in a wrought iron fence. They don't seem to be keeping a particularly good eye on the town. Excuse me. The guards pause. They look up.
Yes, can we help you?
How about that Cloaked Brotherhood, am I right? What's the crime like around here? Probably this one right here. How's protecting the city going? The guards blink.
Fine.
Well, that wasn't the response I was looking for. Arrest anyone suspicious lately? I lean against the fence, trying to appear super casual and end up looking suspicious myself. You know, like some murderer from a really secretive mercenary guild or something? Smooth. The other guard's face settles into a frown.
Is there something you need? We're kind of busy.
I glance at their dice game. So much for protecting and serving. Right. Sorry. I shuffle away. Well, let's ask the shady group. I walk up to a group of people, mostly young guys. They're clustered together, blocking off an alley. Someone must have said something funny because they abruptly burst into laughter. Hey. They look up at me.
What do you want?
Oh, shady, it's a thug. Do you guys know where the Cloaked Brotherhood? So, anything strange going around these parts? These here parts? That just sounds funny. Has anything weird been going on in this town? The first man narrows his eyes.
What do you mean weird?
Like, people disappearing? Crime rates going up? Assassins? Ninjas? He blinks.
What?
What? He snarls and waves his hand.
Get out of here, kid. We don't know what you're talking about.
I walk away with a soft sigh. Maybe they weren't the best people to ask. That wasn't as successful as I'd hoped it'd be. I search for Leanna and find her outside one of the buildings. Now, see, I probably could have asked about the Cloaked Brotherhood, but that would really raise more suspicions, and I don't want to do that. Any luck? She shakes her head. Me neither.
Maybe we should head back and see if the others have had more success.
Yeah, good idea. We make our way back to the blacksmith's shop. Looks like Kara and Amelia are already waiting for us. Quick
There
searching.
you guys are.
You seem happy to see me. Kara splits into a bright smile when she sees us. She seems to be in a good mood. I hope this means you found something.
You bet. I think I got a lead.
Yes, at least one of us was successful. I will raise my eyebrows. Impressed. Really? She nods.
I noticed there were a lot of people going in and out of this one area. It might be nothing, or it could lead us exactly where we need to go.
Hey, that's better than what we got. Leanna nods in agreement.
That sounds like our best bet. We should grab Zack and get going.
Do we really want to grab Zack, though? Maybe. He'd be a wealth of information. We meet up with Zack and fill him in on what we found. He straps on his dischargers, and together, we head out of the shop. Kara takes us through a shortcut in the city, hitting more isolated streets. The fewer people who see Zack, the better. She steers us into an alleyway and then turns another sharp corner.
Right here.
She gestures to a house. I squint at it. It doesn't look any different than the other houses in the city. What exactly am I looking at?
This place doesn't seem like much, but I've seen people come in and out. If this was someone's home, you'd expect to see the same person there all the time. But that's not the case.
Fair point.
Let's check it out then.
Are we going to go in like kicking down the door, or are we just going to casually stroll on in like, I belong here? There's a man stationed right outside the home, but Zack easily knocks him out. As we enter the house, the first thing I see is a rickety dining table and a meager kitchen. Sunlight slices across the floor from a single window. I notice a red flap covering the entrance to what might be another room. Kara walks around the room, testing the floors and walls for any creaking or hollow sounds. She shoves aside a curtain to expose a blank wall. Pushing against a knot in the wood, the wall swings back to reveal a doorway leading to an underground staircase. I wait for Kara to grin or make one of her usual jokes, but she doesn't. Instead, her jaw clenches. She looks nervous. We all stare down into the dark.
Let's go.
I stiffly nod. We descend down the stairs. This art right here reminds me a lot of the Thieves Guild in Riften in Skyrim. It looks very similar, having that bar set up here with a couple of tables. Could just be an inspiration, but I like how it looks. It's really kind of cool. A bright light bursts through the dark. At the bottom of the steps, I can hear two male voices. Whoever it is, it sounds like they're laughing and joking with each other. Without hesitation, Zack draws his dischargers. There's a crack, and then a flash of violet light. The sentry grunts in pain and collapses before he even has a chance to sound the alarm. I dash down and ready my sword. Shink! And the minigame's not available just yet. Probably going to be along the same lines as some of the other ones. I still need to go back and see if any of the other games have changed or any games are out. We're going to do well. The guard cuts at my face with his sword. I lunge, blocking him with a spray of sparks. My manipulator glows and I hack at him again. He cries out, struggling to keep up. With a final swing, his sword clatters to the ground. With the sentries disposed of, we step past them and follow the hallway. Zack leads the way as the hall opens up into a large room. It's darkly lit with deep wooden tables. It looks to be like some sort of guild hall. There are alcoved areas branching from the main hall, one of which is guarded. If I had to guess, the ledgers are probably stored in that room. The others must have come to the same conclusion as we creep closer to get a better look. The floorboard creaks and another bandit hears us. He scrambles for the discharger at his waist, but he's not fast enough. Leanna shoots her hand out and a wind gale blasts him away.
Let's go.
We walk around the bandit sprawled across the floor and follow Zack into the room. A man looks up at us from behind a desk. He has a shook of red hair and a few scars across his face.
Hey, you can't be back here. This is for authorized...
Phaer, you're dead. He freezes, the words caught in his lips. Then his eyes widen.
Zack?
Zack knows him too, apparently, based on that look. A heavy pause. Zack's face is taut with shock.
It can't be. There.
Phaer gapes at him. Then his expression melts into a wire smile and a laugh bubbles out of him.
Of course it's you. It's always you, isn't it?
What's going on? Zack's face is frozen with shock and confusion.
There. You're alive.
Yes, and I'm just as surprised to see you, too. Although I really shouldn't be. I should have known better.
What are you talking about? Where have you been this whole time?
Phaer shakes his head.
A bit slow on the uptake. Honestly, I expected better from you, Zack, the prodigal son.
What is really going on here? Zack's jaw clenches.
You've been here with the Cloaked Brotherhood.
Phaer slides into a slippery grin.
There you go. I knew you'd get there eventually.
I don't like this guy. Zack's eyes darken to the color of a storm.
Our last mission together. You, me, Damon, and the others. We had to transport the weapons. Seemed easy enough at the time. You were there on the crystal rail with us. But you weren't there when they all got attacked.
Phaer's mouth curls into a snarl.
Apparently, neither were you.
No. I was sent to look for you. We thought maybe something happened when you didn't return from scouting.
Phaer scoffs.
Damon couldn't even trust me to do one thing. He sent you to fix it for me, didn't he?
He was worried about you. That's what happens when you're part of a team.
Don't give me that bullshit.
Oh, things are getting heated. Phaer's eyes narrow. He grips the back of his chair so hard his knuckles turn white. The words flow out of his mouth like poison, each one more clipped and venomous than the last.
Damon only cared about you. The rest of us only mattered in how we compared to you.
That's because you all sucked in comparison. Ever think of that, buddy?
That's not true.
How would you know?
I knew Damon. He cared about all of us. We were a family.
Phaer croaks out a laugh.
You're still just as naive as before. And if Damon hadn't trusted you as much as he did, maybe he'd still be alive.
Zack's grip on his discharger tightens.
You were sent to find me, but you couldn't, because I'm smarter than you, and always have been. It's too bad Damon wasn't able to see that, but I found people who did.
He gestures to the guild around him.
If you had caught me, then maybe the attack wouldn't have happened. Maybe the Cloaked Brotherhood wouldn't have secured the weapons and killed everyone on that crystal rail. Damon died because you couldn't complete your mission.
Suddenly, a loud crack rings in my ears and a flash of purple sparks in my vision. Zack stands with his discharger raised while Phaer clutches at his side. He snarls as he whips out his own discharger and shoots at Zack, who deftly dodges it. I snap back to reality and pull up my sword. Leanna and Amelia power up their manipulators as Kara reaches for her daggers. And we have another fight on our hands. Phaer crumples into a heap on the ground, gasping. Zack's eyes are a dark abyss as he calmly aims his discharger at Phaer's head. Kara's eyes widen.
Zack, what are you doing?
My stomach gives an unpleasant twist. Leanna and Amelia look equally as shocked. Zack! Zack's grip on his discharger tightens. Kara slowly steps towards him.
Look at him. He's done. You don't have to do this.
The discharger shakes in his hand. Hurt and anger flashes across his face.
I understand your anger, your pain, but killing him won't make all that pain disappear. It won't bring back your friend.
She makes a point, Zack. You should listen to her. Kara gently touches Zack's arm.
Don't stoop to his level. You won't be able to come back from it.
You really don't know him, do you? He's killed countless people just like I have. You really think one more to his tally will hurt his conscience? Don't be so stupid.
Kick him in the face! Zack doesn't comment.
Just do it already.
Zack's grip tightens once more as he aims his weapon. My breath catches in my throat, and the air's still in taut tension as time seems to freeze.
No.
He lowers his weapon. Phaer exhales hard, then laughs.
You've gone weak. Maybe we aren't as much alike as I thought.
I still say kick him in the face, right now.
You're right. Because I'm nothing like you. I don't murder the people I care about.
What?
You were my brother for the longest time, and family is complicated. You'll have to live with what you did, and maybe it won't be today or tomorrow. But someday, your decisions will come back to haunt you.
That's deep. It's really deep. Hits you right here. Phaer scoffs.
That soft heart is what got Damon killed, and what will eventually kill you, too.
Zack swings the discharger around, crunching into Phaer's temple. He slumps to the ground. Or just hit it, just give him a pistol whip, that works too. The encroaching quiet seeping in seems to bring life back to us. Zack breathes hard as he stares at the body on the ground.
You did the right thing.
He doesn't say anything. I glance over at Leanna. Her blue eyes watch Zack closely. Her mouth a thin line. I wonder what she's thinking about. Hey. She glances at me and gives me a small smile.
Hey.
You okay?
Yeah, I feel for Zack. It must have been really hard knowing that someone you trusted could have betrayed you.
That's never easy. Yeah. I hear a soft rustling and see Amelia rummaging through the books. Amy. She looks up.
Yes.
Are you sure now is a good time to be doing that?
The goal of this mission is to acquire the ledger which contains information regarding Kara's family. Is it not?
Don't make that pose on me. You know it's going to work every time. Her voice wavers as she tries to put on a brave face.
It is evident that these are the ledgers we seek. To find the specific book, we would need to require a lengthy amount of time, which we do not have. I would advise all of us to assist in this function.
Yeah, but maybe this is her way of coping with the situation. She is just a child after all, supposedly. I gesture towards Zack. He shakes his head.
Amy's right. We need to find the ledger and get out of here.
Glad to see you came back to reality. Welcome back. He shakes out of Kara's grasp and begins pulling out books.
What date should we be looking for, Kara?
Oh, let me think.
Kara heads over to Zack while Leanna and I jump in to help. Once we know what dates to search for, we get started on sorting the books. We work tirelessly, glancing behind us every so often to see if anyone's noticed us. Then Zack wordlessly hands Kara a ledger. Her eyes search his as he takes the book. She takes the book with trembling hands. God, if I can read today! Is that the ledger we require? Kara nods, but doesn't read it. We wait awkwardly, but Kara doesn't move.
Why don't we just take it with us? We can read it at a more fitting time. Right now, we might have to get out of here before more of the Brotherhood finds us.
That's an excellent idea, dear.
Yeah.
Kara shakes her head to clear her thoughts, and her voice grows stronger.
I mean, you're right. We need to get out of here.
Amelia grabs a few more books and tucks them under her arm. What are you doing?
I am acquiring proof should we wish to alert the proper authorities about the Cloaked Brotherhood.
That's some good thinking there.
Good idea. I think those will be enough, though. Let's go.
The group nods and we slip out of the room. Sneaky, sneaky away. I follow the group through a corridor and we navigate to the exit. The sky is a canvas of darkness when we exit the house. Bright stars prick holes in the inky blanket of night. I let out a soft breath of relief. We made it. Zack marches ahead of us. He approaches the first guard we find. The guard stiffens as Zack approaches, taking in his black coat and scar.
Can I help you?
Yes. We discovered something that might be interesting to you.
Oh?
There's a band of dangerous mercenaries living in this area. They're called the Cloaked Brotherhood, known for taking on jobs which hurt innocent people. We've just discovered their home base.
The guard looks surprised.
I've never heard of this group.
I find that really hard to believe.
That's the point.
Oh, never mind. He seems dismissive and skeptical.
It's pretty hard to believe that a dangerous organization has been in this town the whole time without our knowledge.
They don't operate openly.
Still, the guard seems unconvinced. Zack shoves the 3 books Amy grabbed from the ledger room at him.
Here's a list of some of their targets, and these are just a few of them. There's a whole room full of even more names and missions.
The guard rolls his eyes as he opens the first book, but his jaw tightens as he flips through the pages.
These are death dates.
Yes.
He continues to flip through the book, then opens up the second.
Look how far back these dates and names go. They've been operating for a while.
The guard snaps the book shut, his mouth frowning in obvious distaste.
Where did you say you found this?
His voice is hard and his eyes steely. Zack points to the house.
There's a hidden doorway behind a curtain in the front room. You'll need reinforcements.
I'll look into this. If all of this is real, then there are serious crimes being committed.
You don't say. Maybe if you stopped playing dice games, stuff would get done around this town. His demeanor changes completely from the bored, listless man we approached. His footsteps are brisk and sharp as he seeks out his fellow guards. Kara's still clinging to her book. She clutches it to her chest. Zack notices Kara's expression.
Come on, let's go to the inn.
She furrows her brows.
What if someone sees you?
It doesn't matter anymore. The scouts will return to headquarters to discover an army of guards storming the place. I'll be the last of their worries.
Besides, we could take care of him anyways.
That's true.
Kara sounds like she's still in a daze as Zack steers her towards the inn. The rest of us follow silently behind. When we arrive at the inn, we hurry upstairs, walking faster than normal. Zack doesn't stop to make eye contact with any of the other patrons, even though a few of them do a double take. Kara goes into her room. Zack follows her and swings the door shut behind him, but it catches on the back of his heel, which stops it from closing all the way. He must have a one-track mind because he doesn't seem to notice.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Kara takes a deep breath.
Yes.
She closes her eyes.
No.
Her face twists.
But I need to. I need to know.
Take your time. Whenever you're ready.
She nods, not meeting his eyes. We should go. We should leave, but Leanna and Amelia stand on either side of me, rooted to the spot. Even the Pongo is still in the salad. When did he group back up with us? How does he do it? After what seems to be an eternity, Kara flips through the book, biting her lip. There's a lengthy pause. I could see her eyes flicker across the page. She freezes. A visible weight seems to leave Kara's body. The book goes limp in her hand, hanging wide open from her fingertips. I don't think she even realizes it's still there.
At least now I know.
Heartbreak flickers across Leanna's face. Is it what I think it is? Please don't be what I think it is.
Oh, Kara. I'm so sorry.
My chest gives a painful tug. Are you all right? Kara nods,
I'm fine.
but her voice is tight. She tries to put on a smile, but can't hide the pain from her face. Zack takes a step towards her. He touches her arm, and something in Kara's expression changes.
I'm fine. Really.
I know.
Kara's eyes begin to shimmer with tears. She shakes her head.
I know.
Gently, he folds her into his arms. The ledger falls to the ground with a soft thud. Her voice cracks as she tries to hold back tears. It finally happens. Sucks that he finally kind of admits her feelings in a situation like this, but Zack's arms wrap tightly around her. She clings to him, and she can't hold back any longer. They stand there together. Kara's body shuddering from her deep sobs as Zack holds her, as strong and steady as a rock. My heart caves. I want to help, but I don't know what to do. Leanna touches my arm. We should go. I nod. Giving them some space is maybe the best thing I can do for her and Zack at this point. Leanna and Amelia slowly walk away. I reach out and gently shut the door, following after them. We settle downstairs at a table while we wait. Leanna casts worried glances upstairs. I feel bad for both Kara and Zack. Yeah, Phaer and Zack have some intense history. I guess they both ran in the same circle and was looked after by Damon. Amy nods. Ultimately, Phaer was unsatisfied with the group, and to complete his initiation into the Cloaked Brotherhood, he had his team killed. Wait, how'd you know that was his initiation? Amy fixes me with her big eyes. Zack expressed that the Brotherhood initiations require a hefty sacrifice. For Zack, it was to spill the blood of the innocents. It would only stand to reason that the Brotherhood would have offered a similar mission to Phaer. That makes what happens even more horrific. How could he just turn on his team like that? Hopefully, this is all worth it, though, to give Kara some closure. Yeah, the idea of having an idea of what happened isn't the same as reality confirming it. The conversation falls to a close. There's really not much to say after what's happened. Finally, after what feels like an hour, Zack and Kara come downstairs from the room. We all shoot to a stand. Hey, how are you feeling? Kara hastily wipes her face.
It still hurts, but it's a little better now.
She gives us a small, weak smile. Don't expect it to heal overnight. It's still fresh, and it's a big hurt. It's a very big hurt.
Thank you guys for coming with me.
Leanna smiles back. Of course. A few other people from the inn send us curious glances. Some patrons squint at Zack.
We should get out of here.
A shiver runs down my spine. Yeah, I agree. All of the muttering and staring is starting to make me feel a little uneasy. Not only that, but this place is still technically dangerous. I'd really rather not have another encounter with the Cloaked Brotherhood. Not wasting any more time, we gather what we need and leave. When we are far enough from the city, we finally stop to make camp. The crescent moon hangs low in the clouds. Zack prepares dinner, and we sit around a small fire. The Pongo huddles close to Kara. She absentmindedly pats his head and gives him a hug. Because who can say no to Pongo? Let's be real. If and when PixelFade makes a Pongo plushie, chances are I'm going to buy it and you'll be replaced. It's silent for a while, with only the sound of flames crackling and crickets chirping in the distance. Crickets, what was I saying? Even though Zack's cooking is always delicious, I find myself unable to concentrate on the taste. Kara chews slowly, thoughtfully. A part of me wonders if I should say something and ask how she's doing. But maybe it'd be better to give her some space. Kara clears her throat.
Thanks for everything you've done for me. I know you all didn't have to go with me to find the Cloaked Brotherhood, and it means a lot to me that you did.
Would have been a lot tougher to do it on your own, am I right?
Of course. There's no way we'd let you go through that alone.
Leanna and Kara share an expression of silent gratitude.
I'm glad I finally know what happened to my dad.
She breathes out a big sigh.
It's a bit crazy, but my greatest worry wasn't just that he might be dead, but that maybe he wasn't and he never came back for me.
That is a big fear. That's a terrifying thing to think of. Kara. She smiles, and for the first time, it looks natural. Bit sad, but also relieved.
It's okay. I know that he would never have abandoned me. Our separation was by force. There's no changing the past. At least now I can move on to bigger and brighter things.
She turns to Zack, and her expression softens.
What about you? Running into Phaer was unexpected, and it sounded like you had a lot of history.
Zack looks up. He hesitates, then lets out a low sigh.
He was like a brother to me. We both lost our families. Both were orphans. We were both taken in by Damon.
Holy shit, he's actually opening up to us. Damon was your mentor? Zack nods.
He was the leader of our band of mercenaries, and like a father to me. He taught me everything I know, pushed me to become the best I could be, and showed me how to survive.
He pauses as he stares into the fire.
Phaer and I were the youngest. I was around 14 when I joined the group, and Phaer had only been there a year longer. We bonded pretty quickly.
His voice trails off as he furrows his brow.
At least, I thought we did. I've been thinking about what he said, and I wonder if he's right. Maybe Damon did favor me.
Even if that's true, doesn't mean he deserved to die for it.
No, of course not. Nothing can excuse what Phaer did.
Leanna's voice is gentle.
What happened?
Zack pauses as he collects his thoughts.
We'd been hired to transport a load of weapons. It was supposed to be an easy gig, one we'd all done many times before. Phaer was our scout, and Damon and I guarded the trunk as we took passage on the Crystal Rail. Biggs and Jess were stationed in other Crystal Rail cars to spot any suspicious passengers. Damon sent Phaer out to make his round on the Crystal Rail, as he had done a few times already. This time, it took longer than usual and we were worried that he'd encounter some trouble. Damon had me search for Phaer and give him back up if needed. I walked around the Crystal Rail, through the cars, asking the rest of our team if they saw him. No one did, and I couldn't find him. When I got back to Damon...
Zack pauses. Pain ripples across his face. His eyes haunted and bleak.
He was dead.
His voice is flat.
I didn't have time to look at the bodies. The men who killed him were still there, so I jumped out of the Crystal Rail before they could get me too.
His face curdles in disgust.
I assumed Phaer died with them. I mourned for him.
His hands curl into fists. Kara reaches out and touches his arm. He flinches and then blinks at her. His eyes refocus and he turns away, taking in a deep breath.
They never came after you?
He shakes his head.
They probably assume I died jumping out of the Crystal Rail. After I recovered, I tried to seek out what had happened, but for years I couldn't find a damn thing.
He pauses.
I didn't know it was the Cloaked Brotherhood, and that Phaer could have done that, or would have joined them. I lost everything that day, for the second time in my life.
I try to imagine how it would feel to mourn for someone I cared about, only to find out years later that they were alive and had betrayed me. The thought makes my stomach turn. Leanna shifts in the quiet, but Kara speaks next, her voice low.
And that's when you became the Deathslinger, isn't it?
Zack lifts his head.
Yeah.
The reports from the Mage Guild, they said you would take on suicide missions?
Missions kept my mind from thinking. I was good at what I did, and I had nothing to lose.
Shadows flicker across Zack's face, and the group quiets. Leanna looks down as Kara places a hand on Zack's arm. He looks at her, and the shadows disappear from his eyes. As their eyes meet, Kara's cheeks begin to color, and Zack cracks the hint of a smile. Budding love. Such an awkward thing to watch.
But I don't need to be the Deathslinger anymore.
Kara blinks, then looks at Zack hopefully.
Oh?
He shrugs. He looks like he's struggling to get the words out. A slight blush dusts his cheeks, and he coughs.
I found a reason to live.
That is adorable. Now, Kith. Oh, stop it, you. Group hug. Happy for you, Zack. Normally Sylar would go, oh, stop it, you, but Zack doesn't. Zack doesn't do that. Group hug's not what he's talking about, really. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. We'll take the serious out. It's great, man. I'm happy you finally found what you were looking for. Zack looks up. He nods.
We should get some sleep. It's been a long day.
It's been a very long day, so why not? Yeah, I agree. Every limb and muscle suddenly feels sluggish, and I realize how much I've pushed myself today. The same exhaustion seems to ripple throughout the rest of the group. I unravel my bedroll and smack it a few times, puffing it out as best as I can. Kara's the first one asleep. Today's event must have really exhausted her. In her sleep, her face looks smooth and peaceful. I hope she's able to get a good night's rest. Zack's bedroll shifts a little closer to her. When he gets close, I hear a tiny squeak. The pongo pokes his head up from Kara's bedroll and blinks at Zack. Oh, great, little guy! Why? Through my haze of exhaustion, I see Amelia stretch out her hand. Her bracelets shimmer, and the embers of the fire snuff out. My eyes droop shut as I fall asleep. Goddamn Pongo getting in the middle of Zack and Kara while they're trying to cuddle at night. A flock of birds shooting across the sky wakes me up, and it is time for a brand new day. I'm going to end the episode here. That was intense. Lots of backstory right away. Welcome to Chapter 4. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to continue going on through there. I do know that there are some audio that's missing. Some of the voices are missing. It's a current work in progress. Again, this is an early access version, so I'm sure the voice actors and voice actresses are very busy. But as always, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to let me know by hitting the like button down below or leaving a comment. I will leave the links to PixelFade's website along with their Patreon in the description down below as well, along with the Steam page for Crystalline. I encourage you to play through and check it out yourself. And I will see all you heroes in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.